Hi guys, it's me Rhea. Right now I'm here to discuss on how to eliminate the risk and hazard in the hospitality industry. What you're going to do is just to sit back, relax, and listen with full of excitement with my presentation. Ano pang hinihintay natin? Let's go! Eliminating risk and hazard in the hospitality industry. What is hospitality industry? It is a broad field, and while most people have a basic idea of the types of businesses that counts as hospitality brands, a far smaller number are able to provide a coherent and satisfactory explanation of what the industry is and what it is not. Put simply, the hospitality industry refers to a variety of businesses and services linked to leisure and customer satisfaction. A defining aspect of the hospitality industry is also the fact that it focuses on ideas of luxury, pleasure, enjoyment, and experiences as opposed to catering for necessities and essentials. Although work provides many economic and other benefits, a wide array of workplace hazards also present risks to the health and safety of people at work. These include but are not limited to chemicals, biological agents, physical factors, adverse ergonomic conditions, allergens, a complex network of safety risks, and a broad range of psychosocial risk factors. Let's define what is hazard and risk. Hazard is a potential source of harm or adverse health effect on a person or persons. Risk is the chance or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effect if exposed to a hazard. It may also apply to situations with property or equipment loss.
See how many hazards you can spot in this walkthrough. Did you catch them all? Let's back up and see if we can do it safer this time. That looks like a tripping hazard. Better put it back where it belongs. Dish towels aren't much protection from a hot pan. Oven mitts are a safer bet. Let's clean this up before someone slips and falls. Ouch! What's a sharp knife doing in this open drawer? A step stool is more stable for reaching a high shelf. Let's store this knife on a rack where it can't hurt anyone. Always clean up spills as soon as they happen.
Based on the video presentation, there are so many hazards that spot on that workplace. For me, it is a great help for you or for us to identify the hazards to minimize the potential accidents. And then, risk assessments are said to be the foundation of managing the health and safety. And also, identifying hazard is the first step towards completing suitable and sufficient risk assessments. Common work-related injuries in the food service industry. And it includes burns, cuts, slips, trips and falls, fires, and ergonomic risks, and many more. What are those and how to eliminate them? Burns is an injury acquired from contact with hot surfaces of an equipment, example ovens, coffee makers, deep fat fryers, pots, pans, flames, hot food liquid, and faulty microwave ovens.
Burns and scalds, that's a very common safety hazard.
Every cook has some.
Man, I have a lot of stories on my arms.
They happen.
Use oven mitts or dry cloths when handling hot objects.
Assume that it's hot rather than assuming it's not is a good way to do it.
When checking on the contents of a hot pot, lift the lid so it opens away from your body.
Some of the worst burns you get are actually from the steam.
If you've had something in the oven for 3 hours, if you've been braising something, and you take it out and you take the foil out, you've got to know that there's deadly steam in there that's going to burn you badly.
Put food into the pan with a motion away from your body.
You're putting it in when it's going away from you, so if there is a splash, it's going to splash away and not splash towards you.
Don't let handles extend over the edge of the stove or other burners.
Not to be in too much of a hurry when you're dealing with hot objects, and having the proper equipment. I don't know how many times I've burned myself using something that I shouldn't have.
Announce your presence if you're coming up behind someone with a hot pot or pan.
If you're carrying something hot around a blind corner, if you've got a frying pan and you're moving it behind someone else, if you put a hot pan on a counter where someone else is working and don't tell them about it, there's all these accidental burns that happen.
When resting hot pans, communicate this to others and use visual cues. Be careful not to overheat oil. It can burst into flames. If you have an oil fire, turn off the gas and cover the flames with a fire-smothering blanket or damp cloth. If it's a large fire, use a wet chemical extinguisher.
If you do get a burn, make sure that you see a doctor. I've seen people put gels and creams. I see people put butter on their burns, and that's not what to do. Make sure that you get proper first aid.
There's a lot of efficiencies that have to happen in a kitchen for service to be on the table in 15 to 20 minutes for every plate. But it doesn't negate our responsibility to working in a safe and clean environment.
Never use water to extinguish an oil fire. And don't carry a burning pan.
Next, we have here the cuts. It is a skin opening and accidental incision of sharp objects, example knife, can cause exposure to blood-borne pathogens such as hepatitis B and HIV. There are ways on how to prevent cuts. First, enforce proper knife storage. We need to have a specific place for storing knives such as magnetic ball rack, knife block, or a drawer for knives only with the knife blades covered. Use PPE, such as cut-resistant gloves or stainless mesh gloves. And keep knives sharp. A dull blade has a tendency to slip and cause some accidents. If you're using a cutting board, it should be secured. And do not use the palm of your hand as a cutting board. Slips, trips, and falls. Open ranges, stove doors, kitchen doors, trolleys, stairs, defective ladders, footstools, and wet, cluttered, or slippery floors are common causes of these injuries.
When I watch a show like MasterChef and I see somebody running around and they've got improper footwear on, they're running around, like a chicken with their head cut off to get in the fridge and grab their produce and come back. Watching it as a chef, you get nervous. I think those are the things that in the kitchens are really important to reinforce with younger people is just slow down. That extra 4 seconds getting from the fridge to your station is really not going to make that much of a difference.
Always put up warning signs on wet floors. Spills should be mopped as soon as possible, and all floors should be cleaned regularly according to a schedule.
If you don't take the time to clean up the spill, the things that could happen from that spill become much, much bigger than the minute or 2 minutes it's going to take you to get a wet floor sign down, get a towel, mop, whatever it happens to be, call someone else to come give you a hand with the situation.
Kitchen staff should wear well-fitting, non-slip footwear.
Everybody that's new to the kitchen should have, as part of their uniform, shoes that have oil-resistant anti-skid.
It's not just slipping and falling that's going to hurt you in a kitchen. It's the things that you're carrying or the things that are around you that are going to hurt even more.
A clean kitchen where you aren't likely to trip over something or misplace something or find a sharp object under a haphazardly placed item is a much safer kitchen to work in.
One thing we always really focus is do one job, finish it, and then clean up and then set up for the next task.
Keep walkways and aisles clear of boxes and other clutter. Blind corners are a serious hazard in kitchens. Always announce your presence as you approach one.
We call corner before we round blind corners, no matter if we are carrying or not carrying anything, or if we're pushing a cart or not. It's like a double safety thing, because if you're not looking at the mirror, at least you can hear.
Avoid standing in front of swinging doors and doorways.
In a small kitchen, it's up to you as the chef or as the people that are putting the kitchen together to make sure that the workflow is structured in such a way that you don't have a lot of places to go.
Due to changes in temperature, areas around and inside walk-in freezers can become wet and slippery from condensation.
Taking the time to do things safely and properly. If you're going to try and speed things up, that's when I typically hurt myself. I think most people are the same way.
Remember, no matter how busy you are, don't run while working in a kitchen. When carrying large items, always make sure you can see where you're going.
Fires is an accidental ignition of hot oils and greases, paper materials coming into contact with hot stoves and oven, faulty electrical equipment, such as cords, switches, and power outlets. Wet electrical equipment and appliances are the usual causes of fires. Workplace fires can be prevented or stopped before they cause too much damage. We can prevent fire by, first, maintain machinery and electrical items. Second, store and use chemicals responsibly. Third, maintain easy access to all electrical control panels and fire alarm equipment. And lastly, test the fire alarm regularly. Ergonomic risk is an injuries from repetitive motions, unchanging and or poor posture when sitting, kneeling and standing, incorrect lifting techniques and forceful motions or grips on objects causes ergonomic risks. There are ways on how to prevent ergonomic risks. Adjust the height of working surfaces to reduce long reaches and awkward postures. Put work supplies and equipment within comfortable reach. Provide the right tool handle for the worker, and lastly, provide ergonomic chairs and stools.
Welcome to Home Arts, everyone. Before we begin cooking, we need to talk about how to be safe in the kitchen. Before cooking, you should always roll up long sleeves, put on an apron, and tie back long hair, because no one wants your hair in their food. Please keep dirt and germs out of our food. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with warm water and soap before cooking. Always wash your hands after coughing or sneezing. Keep your workspace clean and organized by washing your dishes as you go instead of leaving them all to the end of the lab. Make sure the oven and stove are turned off when not in use and do not leave them unattended. Always use oven mitts when handling hot utensils. Never use a towel, apron, or anything that is damp. Stand to the side when opening oven doors to allow the heat to release from the oven first. To avoid steam burns, remove the lids from hot items away from yourself and make sure handles are turned inward. Never throw water on a cooking fire. This is very dangerous and can result in serious injuries. To safely put out a cooking fire, smother the flames with the lid or baking soda and turn off the heat. If clothing catches fire, lay on the ground and be covered by a fire blanket, or stop, drop, and roll. For minor burns, run the affected area under cold water until the pain is gone. Always let a teacher know if you are hurt. When using a knife, keep the tips of your fingers curled in to avoid accidents. Carry a knife with the blade pointed down and at your side. Always let people around you know if you are carrying a sharp object. Pass someone a knife by the handle or place it on the counter for them to pick up. Never put a knife in a sink full of soapy water. It is difficult to see and someone could get hurt. Clean up spills right away so no one slips or falls. If glass breaks, sweep up the large pieces and put them in the broken glass bin. Then wipe the area with a damp paper towel. Remember, you should never run or roughhouse in the home arts room. Always follow safety directions and ask your teacher if you are unsure about them. Now you're ready to cook. Happy cooking, everyone!
Appropriate orientation on the hazards of the food industry and adequate periodic training must be implemented for the food production personnel to fully understand the responsibilities toward the food safety. By the use of visuals, control, or reminders in the form of posters or sign is an effective way of reinforcing hygienic habits in the kitchen. That's all. Thank you.